الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله على ما أنعمت وأوليت يا رب العالمين. اللهم كما أنعمت فأدم وزدنا من نعمك واجعلنا من الشاكرين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الملك الحق المبين، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله أرسله رحمة للعالمين وهدى وبشرى للمحسنين، فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. فصل اللهم عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهديه واتبع سنته واقتفى أثره بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فيقول ربنا سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز: ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا، فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله. وقال في موضع آخر سبحانه وتعالى في سورة النساء: لا خير في كثير من نجواهم إلا من أمر بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس، ومن يفعل ذلك ابتغاء مرضات الله فسوف يؤتيه أجرا عظيما. So Allah the Almighty said in Surah Al-Baqarah that because they have said sale is like riba usually, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made sale permitted and He prohibited riba. And in another surah, in Surah An-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there is no use in the private whispers except that which promotes charity or kindness or good deeds or reconciliation between people. When we look at these two verses, what is the common thing? Of course, I'm not going to talk about the prohibition of riba. It's a well-known prohibition, but I want to address this from a different angle. The ayah is talking about a prohibited thing, which is riba. One of the most prohibited things is riba, usury or interest. In the other verse, Allah Azza wa Jal again is addressing one of the prohibited issues, which is the prohibition of backbiting and gossips and whispering and creating fitna in the community. So in these two occasions, we see that the Quran is addressing something which is prohibited, but at the same time is opening our eyes to see what is the alternative. We always talk about prohibitions and the seriousness of the prohibitions and the danger of the prohibitions and the limits of Allah which we should not overstep. Agreed, 100%. But what we are lacking is how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala train the companions, the ummah in the early years, not only to focus on the prohibitions and avoid it, but how to be creative and find halal alternative. So in verse number 1, which I recited, أحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. He even introduced the alternative before he talked about the prohibition. Allah made sale halal, which is the alternative, and prohibited riba. You see, so it's not about just this is riba, don't touch it, don't use it, don't come near it, and so on. He even said, listen, the sale is halal, and we have plenty of contracts in sale, halal. Just one item on the list of prohibitions, which is very short, by the way, and the rest is halal. So Allah Azza wa Jal is drawing our attention, is provoking our minds, our intellect, to find halal alternatives. Not to be stuck in the prohibition and say, it is prohibited, we can't do anything. Fine. Go and find halal alternatives. And I still remember one of the statements of the old great masters and shuyukh. He used to say, rahimahullah, المسلمون يحرمون الحرام ويحارون كيف يقيمون الحلال. So the Muslims are always putting forward the haram and say, this is haram, don't come near it, don't touch it. But in reality, they are reluctant to find halal alternatives. You tell your children, this is haram, don't do it. Okay, where's the halal? It's not my problem. You tell your community, disco is haram, don't go disco. Where's the alternative? I'm not saying you do a halal disco, yes? Just an example. So you say, this is riba, this is haram, where's the alternative? You say, many items which we might have on our list. What is the alternative? We need to find the alternative. It's not just about telling people off and telling people that this is haram, but the bravery is to create the halal, to open the way for the halal. As Allah taught us in the Quran, أحل الله البيع. He put forward the halal, the alternative before the haram. And the other verse, the prohibition of gossips and whispering and backbiting, he said this is haram, but he opened the way for the halal. Many alternatives he introduced. He said, except instead of utilizing your time in gossiping and backbiting and this and that, you channelize it in the right manner. What do we do? إِلَّا مَنْ أَمَرَ بِصَدَقَةٍ. Promote charity. And charity is not just donating money. This is part of it. Saying good words is charity. الكلمة الطيبة صدقة. قل عبادي يقول التي هي أحسن. So he's opening our eyes how to utilize our time. This is the alternative. Instead of gossiping, they created a new medium now for gossips. Magazines, online, offline, apps, maps, you name it. Specialized in gossips. Just shun away from this. Open the halal way. Utilize your time in charitable work. What else Allah is introducing? Ma'ruf, an act of kindness, good deed. And it's open for any useful good deed you can do. It is the alternative for wasting your time and recording in your book gossips and backbiting and sins and what have you. And what else Allah is introducing? أو إصلاح بين الناس. If you have that talent of reconciling between people, just go forward. Work on it. Bring people together. Soften the hearts. Unite the ranks. unify people, and so on and so forth. So when we look at these verses, it's amazing. When we see Allah Azza wa Jal is introducing to us how to be creative in finding alternatives. Not just to say this is haram and that's it. No. Our job together to come forward and join our forces and efforts and to find halal alternatives. No matter what we might face, difficulties, challenges, which is part and parcel of the package which we have. When we came to this dunya, we've been challenged by many things, and this is part of the challenge which we face. It's not an easy ride to the akhirah. And by the way, life without challenges is tasteless. So we have these challenges Allah is putting before us. We have to be creative in finding solutions instead of saying these are the problems and I don't know what's the way out. Of course, we know that we have problems, but what is the alternative? If we keep always talking about the problems without finding solutions, then a problem will be bigger. If we always talk about prohibitions and never find alternative halal, the haram will be bigger, and so on. So my point is, let's learn from the Quran how to navigate our way through the challenges which we have and find alternatives. There are plenty, but it needs efforts. It needs sincerity. It needs an open mind to see that yes, it is possible. With all these challenges and obstacles and hardships, there are always ways. As long as we trust Allah Azza wa Jal, we do our best, we deal with the means, we understand our reality, which is the most important thing, then we will definitely find alternatives. And I would like to see more of this promoting alternatives, halal alternatives, bada'il halal, instead of just focusing on the haram and haram and haram. So let's move on and find how can we make people live with halal instead of having haram. Another example, when the Islamic banking came to this country, many of our imams, I regret to say this, they even fought against Islamic finance. And they said, this is the back door of riba and we can't accept it. Calm down. You understand first, how does it work? And then you decide. But without understanding how does it work and the functionalities and technicalities and the Sharia issues, you can't judge something without understanding it. So the scholars are trying their best to provide halal alternatives. I'm not saying that it is always 100% halal, but what can we do? Do you go 100% to the haram, or you use 70% halal with some issues? It's obvious. You can't just jump into the haram, avoid the haram. If you have difficulties, then we can move on, which we call the gradualism approach, tadarruj approach, which was the prophetic approach, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aisha used to say, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, if the first verse was revealed from the Quran, do not drink alcohol, no one ever will stop drinking alcohol. The prohibition of alcohol came very late in Medina, in the very late stage from the revelation. Why that? Because he's building the people's iman and practice and commitment and understanding, and this is what we need to do. So we need to build iman and knowledge and understanding, and build on that and with that halal alternatives. And one important thing as well, when we create the halal alternatives, and I'm involved in this, I'm talking about something I know from inside. When we are involved in creating some halal alternatives, you cannot have the Hanafi view dominant, with my respect. You cannot have the Shafi'i view dominant. You cannot have the Maliki view dominant. You cannot have the Hanbali view dominant. We need an Islamic view, regardless of which school it came from. Because it's not a matter of this school or that school. It's a matter of Islam or no Islam. It's a matter of halal and haram. So calm down. And I was surprised with some of my friends. We were in this discussion about creating some halal alternatives, and he said, if it's not Hanafi, I'm not bothered. Not precisely his words, but something like that. So, come on, what's that? Don't make Islam Hanafi, please. And don't make Islam Shafi'i, please. It's a matter of iman, faith or no faith. We have a big challenge beyond what we might expect and we might think. Now we have a very huge attack in our universities, in our community. It's the atheism. You know that? I know this because I'm dealing with students all the time. To the extent that there's a slogan now going around, it's cool to be an atheist. It's a sticker they put on their cars. If someone of you has seen this, don't be surprised. It's cool to be an atheist. And you are talking about Hanafi and Shafi'i, calm down, give me a break, please. It's not Abu Hanifa's battle here. It's Islam's battle here. It's not promoting this school over that school. It's about having faith and confidence or no faith. This is our problem here. And another challenge which we came across just last week, so-called group of people, they call themselves Quraniyun, people of Quran. They just accept what comes in the Quran. And one of them, he was promoting heavily that women during Ramadan, if they were menstruating, they have to fast. Because there's an ayah in the Quran which says she's not allowed to fast while she's menstruating. And I was, what's that? It never crossed my mind, to be honest with you. And I went back and checked. Yes, there's no ayah in the Quran which says if she was menstruating, she cannot fast. Yes, but from where did you get this? From the Sunnah. They say, excuse me, we don't accept the Sunnah because there are some doubts and this and that. Another challenge. What can you do with this? We need to equip our students, our community with the right tools, with the right knowledge, with the right understanding. And my answer was, yeah, just let me know, how do you pray Dhuhr from the Quran? Give me an ayah which says Dhuhr is 4 rak'ahs. From where did you get this? It's not anywhere in the Quran. Yes? And he was puzzled. Yeah, he said, because we received it from our forefathers. I said, yeah, but the way we received the Quran in the first place, we received it through the companions. Yes? Who narrated the Quran? Who related the Quran to us? The companions. Yes? So you trust the companions when they relate the Quran, but those same companions related the Sunnah. So if you are doubting the Sunnah, then most definitely you are doubting the Quran. Don't contradict yourself. If you doubt the companions here, you doubt them here. then you don't accept the Quran if you are doubting the companions. And if you insist, then I'll tell you, ask the menstruating woman to fast during Ramadan and to pray as well, because there's no ayah says menstruating women should not pray. Number two, and you can do your iftar on the dog's meat, because there's no ayah in the Quran which says you cannot eat dog's meat, and you can eat the meat of donkeys as well, because there's no ayah in the Quran which says meat of the donkeys is prohibited. If this is the case, bon appetit. It's too much. So we have plenty of challenges. We need to be open-minded and come together, unite our efforts, our direction, because we have a community to lead. We have our youth, our children, our students attacked left, right, and center. So we need to be very kind, very lenient, within the boundaries of the Sharia, of course, without sectarianism, without sticking to one view and avoiding other views. Whatever serves the maslahah, the purpose, the aim of the Sharia, we should go for it. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to live our religion, our deen in accordance with His pleasure. Ameen. Alhamdulillah wa kafa. والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن بعهده وفى. We have a few days to receive a very special guest, which comes once a year, Ramadan. So we need to prepare ourselves more, be more into Siyam than before. Aisha used to say, radiallahu ta'ala anha, that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in Sha'ban used to fast more than any other month apart from Ramadan, of course. So he used to increase his Siyam in Sha'ban, and there are some narrations, authentic narrations, which says he used to fast all of Sha'ban, apart from few days and so on. So we still have few days from Sha'ban. So let's roll up our sleeves and control our tongues and control our whims and desires more, and let's start this preparation before Ramadan, inshallah. And if we have any problem with anyone, let's do reconciliation before Ramadan. As Allah stated, أو إصلاح بين الناس, reconcile between people. So let's do this reconciliation before Ramadan with friends, families, colleagues, what have you. Let's start with a fresh intention, pure intention, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us our good deeds. اللهم يا رب يا رحمن يا بديع السماوات والأرض يا ذا الجلال والإكرام اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته اللهم إنا نسألك يا الله فرج الكرب عن المكروبين اللهم فرج عن إخواننا في سوريا يا رب العالمين اللهم فرج عن إخواننا في سوريا يا رب العالمين فرج عن أهل الشام يا رب العالمين وعن إخواننا في فلسطين والعراق واليمن وفرج عن إخواننا في ليبيا وأفغانستان ونيجيريا والصومال وبورما وحيثما كان ظلم وقهر وأفغانستان وباكستان وبلاد المسلمين جميعا يا رب العالمين اللهم إنا نسألك يا الله أن تتوب علينا توبة نصوحة اللهم تب علينا توبة نصوحا. اللهم تب علينا توبة نصوحا. اللهم بارك لنا في شعبان فيما بقي من شعبان وبلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان وهيئنا لرمضان واجعلنا من عبادك المتقين واجعلنا من عبادك المخلصين. هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين. اللهم هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين. اللهم هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وأصلح أحوالنا وبدل حالنا إلى أحسن يا رب العالمين. وصلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. اقتربوا إلى الأمام وأفسحوا